here back again. I'm your host, Jordan Antonio Brown. Today we got with me a special guest, recurring guest, Nathan Mavila. We've had him on before, and he's got some big news for us. You know, he's a new signing for the CPL champions, Pacific FC. They had a good year last year. What's your first words on you signing, and how do you feel?
Feel good, man. Feel good to re-establish myself, get back to playing regularly, and literally just playing football again. I haven't played for about 7-8 months, and it feels like torture. But it definitely is a help playing football. And yeah, man, just being in the change rooms and all of that, you miss a lot of that. I managed to get some minutes here in England, non-league, but I had a good experience in Canada whilst in Calgary, and I'm only expecting the same in Victoria Islands.
So explain why you initially decided to, obviously move away from Canada, and then you ended up moving to Sweden. What was the thought process behind that move?
So it was there was a lot going on in the background with family, with my partner. So I thought being closer to home would definitely be a step, to be closer to home and, help out and just be there. So that was mostly the reason why. There was a lot going on with her father passing and whatnot. So I definitely said that I just had to be closer for a year until, I can sort some other stuff out, get that all settled. And then the plan was always to come back to Canada. I would have loved, to get back to Calgary, but it wasn't to be. They got a good left back there. And, so the conversation came up with Pa. And we'd always been, on good terms, steady terms, and he was a good guy on the island games, and we got to know each other. And from there, we sort of kept in contact. And it blossomed to actually me signing there now.
All right, cool. So 50-50, the viewers are from England and probably from Canada. Just explain to maybe the English audience what's so special about Canada, and why would you choose, let's say, to go back there instead of trying to make a career for yourself out in England?
I thought there's too much that goes on in the background in England. Decisions are not always football solely based. They're often based on exterior stuff and things that really don't concern football. And the power that they have is crazy due to the fact of the clubs being in operation for so many years, which gives them an establishment that is solid and founded and grounded to the point where, they make nowadays business decisions more so and more over than footballing decisions. So, which led me to Canada led me out to Canada in the first place. And you just see them building the league from the ground up. But not only that, it's just to build the talent. You have players from different types of backgrounds. You have players from different type of society classes. But the sole thing is just football. It might just be that it's because of the league just starting out. But at the end of the day, what I've seen out there for myself is literally everything's got to do with football. And that's helped my self-esteem. That's helped me as a person to understand that somewhere in the world, it's not all the same as I've experienced. But Canada's a lovely country, man, and it's always wanted to get back out there.
Yeah, so obviously you're moving back out there. Joining that team, how do you feel about going into next season? If nobody's heard already that Pa has left Pacific, how does that feel going into that situation? He must have been a part of the reason why you actually went to Pacific in the first place, right?
Yeah, one of the first reasons was definitely Pa. Another reason would have been the players. Like, they got a talented bunch of players, like very, very talented bunch of players. them winning the title also played a massive part. I would have loved it to happen, especially with our 2019 team. That team was crazy. But it wasn't to be. And then I would have loved it because, you know, we had an amazing bunch in the second year. But again, it wasn't to be. So coming back was definitely on the agenda, based on going to a top team again and trying to win again. And definitely part and the players, you know, you got Bustos. They have Blasco, who is absolute baller but gone now, but he was one of the players that you look at and you admire how much ability he has. Odissimo, for example, Irvin, McNaughton, the obvious like proper ballers, you know what I'm saying? So you know, you're gonna play around them, good players, good team, good atmosphere. BC played a massive part. You and I both know. And when we first landed there, we saw how amazing like everything just was, like the nature, crazy. So it was definitely that too. And just to get back out, man, just to get back out. It was so professionally done, the league. Especially when come back to Europe, you're surprised that how advanced the league is, you know, in comparison to a lot of established teams and established leagues. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Just speaking on that, what is the big difference between the organization, between, you know, the leagues that you've played in previously and the CPL, being the CPL is only 3 to 4 years old? What are they doing so differently compared to other leagues that you've played in?
I would say, so I played in England and Sweden and Canada. And I would say in terms of travel, hotel, everything being tip top. In terms of, how can I say it? In terms of how the PR and the media and everything, it's insane, isn't it? And then after being in Canada for 2 years, I went to Sweden. The football's top draw, but you would get like the media not as good as the CPL, for example. And that specs from team to team. Some teams got bigger budgets, which allows them to do so, and some have smaller, in which, you know, their social media pages, the players got more followers than the teams, and they're not even hitting 4 figures. Not saying it's just about that, but it plays a massive role in, you know, the football and the teams and the money and everything. And yeah, in that sense, advanced, like flying to every game, staying in great hotels, eating good food, per diem, you know, stuff like that. That's not talked about. You know, sorting yourself out in terms of, you know, what you're going to eat at the airports and stuff like that. And just the experience, man. Like, I've grown up all my life just knowing coaches and trains, but now you're actually getting on planes again, which is different. But it's good experiences that you'll never experience if you're just in England.
Yeah, you've mentioned, you know, media part, the PR part, all of that, you know, playing a massive role in what Canada's next generation will become. Me and you both know that there's a lot of talented footballers there. And, you know, Canada, they're producing players by the minute who are going to top leagues and playing in top leagues. Yourself, you've played in Canada for 2 years, in the last 3 years. Would you ever consider, you know, being that next year you'll be a permanent resident? Would you ever consider that you would ever play for the national team if you were eligible to?
No, if I was eligible, for sure. My first and only option up to now is Congo, in which I haven't been picked for. Come close, but just haven't been picked. And for that sole base, I've got to definitely work harder to make sure that I can get a look in. But not only that, is that if I don't get a look in and I have the option to play for Canada, for sure, like for sure. They have some good left backs already, but I feel that I can compete. If that so be it the case one day, for sure, I definitely feel I can compete for that and go forward with it.
Yeah, that's a position. If Alphonso Davies is not playing there, I think that's a position where everybody else They're very much on the similar playing field, and they're competing for that number one
No,
spot.
Alfonso Davis plays higher up, innit? He plays
Yeah,
higher
for
up.
Canada.
So,
Yeah. Speaking about your position, left back, going to the team, how do you see yourself fitting into the team compared to playing at Cavalry? What are the major differences you see before you've kicked the ball there?
Just from experience of playing against Pacific, they were a bit more patient and maybe taking a bit of crazy risks in the first year. I'd say due to inexperience around the team. And as the team matured in the second year, you really saw the difference, that they fought a lot more than they did in the first, in comparison to the first, so to say. They were a bit more street smart on the pitch. Second year than first year, and you saw the differences as they come close. And obviously in the third year, you can just see they look a bit more complete in recent years, in comparison to the recent years. Sorry. So yeah, they look strong. They look very, very strong. But it's just one of those things where I can't really compare it to Calgary because it's a complete different players, sick players as well. We both know first and second year we had a very talented group. So it's like I can't really compare the two, but both two top teams. I can't compare.
All right. One of the last questions I'll ask. So going into this year, of course you guys want to win, but it's going to be something new for you. Have not experienced it yet. Playing in the CONCACAF, how would that feel? Basically showing your level of where you think you're at, and how do you think you'll cope with that? How do you think the team will cope with that? And obviously that's a massive pile-up of games, as we've seen Forge had to deal with for the last 2 to 3 years. How do you guys think that you'll fare in that competition?
It'll be interesting to see, because when watching Forge, they're amazing team, right? Very good footballing team. And just got to give credit where credit's due, really. They just got a good organization as well, with the management. He's a good coach. And so with that, you saw that they had a pile-up of games, but they managed. You know what I'm saying? They actually managed and did very well. Now they're in the Champions League. I'm not saying just because Pacific beat them in the final that they're going to whiz through and wing it in the final of the CONCACAF League. But I do think we'll do well. And surprise a lot of people. We have a young team, and sometimes others from the outside looking in will say, we'll steamroll them, especially going into countries in like South America. They'll look to kind of bully you. But I feel like we'll have enough to come through on the other end. And I'm sure the management are signing players that will be able to cope with those demands of going away and coming back and then playing the CPL, Canadian Championships, and doing that. So I think the management will have that under control. I would have looked at it and said, look, like, we need to arrange in certain areas so be it, there's a pile-up of games we can be able to manage.
Fair enough. Second to last question I have for you. If you were to give, not a speech, but let's say, for example, just something out there to anybody watching from the UK, what type of opportunities as a player can you find yourself, at your feet in Canada?
I would say you definitely make a lot of contacts and find a lot of opportunities outside of football, for sure. The good thing about Canada is I've realized is that everyone always wants to help in many different ways, and you're a testament to that. You've got so many stories. I've got so many stories of people wanting to help. And sometimes being in the UK with it being so crowded, a lot of successful people, a lot of people doing well that are not even in the limelight. They're already piled and stocked up with so much stuff, and Europe being so advanced in that area, of, for example, influencing and technology and social media, no one has time and wants to do anything with you unless it's greatly and largely benefiting them. And for example, in that same area of like influencing, whatever, in comparison to Europe and the UK, Canada's a bit behind. So it opens doors, for example, like that, for you to create your own thing or start something with someone who's doing really well in Canada, for you to grow, because there's a big market in that area. In terms of footballing wise, it's a small league. So, you know, if you do well and you're a smaller club, you can definitely climb up the teams and go to the top teams. It gives you a lot of opportunities in that sense. For example, Elliot Simmons, you know, he was at Halifax. They didn't do too well but he done well, come to us, and still doing well. So good player as well. So there's opportunities in that sense, and just a better life. Like, I feel like in Canada, it's not necessarily a better life, but it's a different life that I'm not used to. But what I seek now in life is not like sort of the hype and what everyone's going after, but it's more of tranquility, peace, you know, starting a family and all that sort of stuff young men want to do. But I find myself in a lot of distractions, especially in the UK, because it's your home, right? And you know how to do everything. But out there, you know, you see young guys at the age of 22, 21, got mortgages. You know, a lot of men in the UK are just focusing on drip. So it's a complete different mentality, you know what I'm saying? It's a complete different mentality out there from what I've seen, especially being in Calgary. At first, you know, I was a bit iffy, but it turned out to be a blessing because it opened my eyes to a lot of stuff that is and isn't important in life. And of course, you learn from like your teammates. Like, we had a teammate, I don't want to say his business out there, but he bought a house and he's younger than me. And it inspired me so much that guys at that age, you know, are buying houses and whatnot. And if you compare that in the UK, it's not even the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're looking at complete wrong things. So it's a complete change in mindset, complete change in everything, but there's opportunities within it.
All right, lastly, before we wrap up, if people don't know already, I'm pretty sure they've seen you, they've played against you already. What's your memoir? What's your, ending speech to the Pacific fans? What would you love to tell them?
I'd love to tell them I can't wait to meet them. I'm always close to fans wherever I play, because I wouldn't even call them fans, I'll say supporters, because you know, they're like family, because you need them in games, you know, you really do need them. So you know, I'm always there after games, whatever. Can't wait to meet you guys. And not only that, I can't wait to win, man. That's all I want to do. You know, you just want to win stuff, win trophies, win medals, whatever you can, and just take the club into greater heights, and then see what the future brings, man, and go from there. But I really do believe I have a good time with the club, especially the fans. They'll enjoy my company, and I'm sure I'll enjoy theirs.
Yeah, watch out for Nathan. He'll bring a lot of energy to the club, to the city, a lot of passion on the pitch, and solid defending. Also, going forward, you know, the last season you saw him in the CPL scoring goals and that. So,
come on, bro.
Yeah, so that's something
fun fact,
to look.
Yeah, fun fact. Me and you were joint top goal scorers the last season we played together at Calgary.
Yeah, couldn't believe it, and yeah, that's something that I would have. Of course, I saw that in you from years ago because you used to be a winger,
Yeah.
but being joint top goal scorer with a defender, that's something that I can't be proud of. I can't lie still.
Listen, but it's something I'm gonna carry to my grave. It's written in history.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, that was Nathan Mavila, guys. Pacific new signing, back in the CPL, looking to dominate the league, win games for you guys. And like I said, clean sheets and goals. That's what you got to be expecting.
Come on, man. Come on.
And giving a lot of energy and a lot of passion to the city of Victoria.
For sure.
That was me, your host, John Antonio Brown, 3258. Peace.
Take care.
For more content like this, like, share, and subscribe.